5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hi, I'm Colin Spaull, and welcome. You're listening to the legend of the Traveling TARDIS.
My name is Christian Basil. Years ago, I had an idea. I got myself a TARDIS. Took it to new places, met a lot of new people, took some great pictures, and talked Doctor Who. From Krypton Radio and the creators of the Hanging With web show, this is the legend of the Traveling TARDIS. Join me on my latest adventures and become part of the legend.
And hello, fellow Whovians. Welcome to the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS radio show. My name is Christian Basil. We want to thank everybody who's joining us up early in Florida this morning, because it's afternoon where you guys are at, Colin and Simon, but it's like 8 a.m. right now where we're at. Everybody who came up with us to join us on this wonderful live chat today, and we're going to have some real good fun. Thank you for joining us out there. For those of you who are first-timers, if you love this content, we want to let you know that we are on Spreaker. We're on iHeartRadio. We're on radio.com where you can subscribe with us. Go to the YouTube channel. Do a search for HWWS for the Hanging With web show. That includes Sunday morning Sunday morning cartoon.
Saturday. Wow, a little bit previous there.
Saturday morning cartoons. We also have the Orlando Wizard. You have a plethora of content, movie reviews, the Indie Music Hour. You definitely want to check us out at HWWS. Just type in HWWS media for a list of the family of the Hanging With show family. Gosh, wow. I told you it was early there. And that includes the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS radio show. Also, you can catch us on nsclivetv.com and always on Apple, iTunes, or whatever the heck they call it nowadays there. And we want to thank our producers at kryptonradio.com where you can check us out. Every feed drops in around... check the local listings there. You just go to kryptonradio.com. You can check the schedules out there. So if you like what you hear or you like what you see out here, please give us a like on our Facebook page where we're dropping all of our content. And today we have a wonderful guest, and that includes one of our wonderful guest panelists. Let me introduce the panels right now, starting off with Mr. Simon Fisher Becker. Simon, how are you doing this lovely afternoon?
I'm absolutely fine. Had to deal with a sheep running through my garden. Yes, I had to let it go all the way through because there was no U-turn.
Oh.
It needs work, I know.
No, that's fine. I was just like, you better not just leave it without telling us that story there. But yeah, we have similar problems. Yeah, we have similar problems in Florida, but not necessarily with sheep. We have really long, big reptilians out here, or
yes.
Or what is it? Not the roly-polies. What am I thinking, Melanie?
Oh, you mean the gigantic alligators? Like I had one in my yard the other day.
The ones that roll up in a ball. I can't. Armadillo. Armadillo, yeah.
That's not reptilian.
No. I said we have reptilian, and then we have, or as Florida calls it, Florida speed bumps. So there we go. Speaking of Florida, Melanie, come on.
Wow, we're gonna go Florida. Speaking of Florida speed bumps, here's Melanie Dean. That's awesome, Christian. Thank you. I'm gonna make a list of segue things and how to do it. So anyway, hi everybody. Good morning over here in the U.S. and good afternoon over in the U.K.
The lovely Melanie Dean Artiste, and definitely we'll be talking about the convention that we're going to be going to next month, where you can check out if you're watching us on the YouTube or live or the Facebook Live. You can actually see all of her wonderful art that is right behind her.
Ta-da! Yes.
Well, there was an attempt there, but anyway. the reason why you're all here is for this gentleman to my left, or your right, or however this is working out over there. This is the lovely Mr. Colin Spaull. Colin, thank you for joining us. How are you doing this lovely morning there?
I'm very, very well. Thank you very much. Yes, it's nice to be here. Hello, everyone.
Now, Colin has for better term, I guess I'm trying to find the good word, moniker or something like that. You are one of the few actors and actresses who can safely say, I was in Classic and I was in New Who. And were you a Whovian before you got the role in Revelations of the Dalek?
I'm not 100 an out-and-out Whovian, no. I mean, but to actually clarify that, yes, I was originally one of the first actors to be in the Classic and the New. But of course, many, many more now since those days have now done it. There are more people that have been in it as well as me.
People want to run the franchise.
Yeah, but no, was I? Yeah, I mean, I used to watch it now and again because an old friend of mine called Fraser Hines happened to have a small part in it, and and you know, we used to meet up and the BBC club and have a beer and things and a chat and everything, and but I watched it because I knew Fraser was in it, and I'd worked with a couple of people that were in it. William Hartnell, I worked with and knew. I made a movie with William Hartnell before he became the Doctor. Mm-hmm. And I managed to work with probably about 5 or 6 doctors, if I remember rightly, or maybe 5. Obviously, Colin Baker in the very first one, The Revelation of the Daleks, and then, of course, with David Tennant. But I also worked with the first Doctor, William Hartnell, in a film. Then I worked with Peter Davidson in a television series called The Last Detective. And also did a show with Paul McGann. So I've worked with quite a few doctors, but only 2 actually as doctors.
Gotcha. Now, I want to focus on, because you keep saying film with William Hartnell. I want to get the name of that film. But first, speaking of names, let me go ahead and bring in our chats because they're up right now. I want to introduce our good friend, Matthew Peck. He says, hello, Simon Fisher Becker.
Hello. How are you?
And we have Kim Jones, Morning Gang. Thank you for joining us, Kim, there. Carl Witzman. Ouch for Melanie's intro. Ouch.
It just goes with the role.
That's right there. And Carl continues, good morning or afternoon, wherever it is in your time zone. It is morning here. It is 8 a.m. If you're watching us live here in Florida. And I think it's 1 p.m. in the afternoon there.
Yep.
And he continues to say hello, Colin. Thank you for joining us, gang. And Grant Perkins. Hello, Colin and Simon.
Grant. Hello, mate.
Yes, excellent. This is wonderful.
Hope to see you both at a con soon. Yeah,
we'll have that will be nice if that ever happens again. Yes.
Well, I have a question, gentlemen. Is there any convention that's going out there right now that's trying to push to be open soon? Or are they still kind of just...
Not that I know of. I mean, I know that they're sort of fingers crossed for Gallifrey in LA, but I don't know of any. I was supposed to do one in Germany with Fraser in October. I thought maybe that might have gone ahead, but that's been also been cancelled. But no, I don't know at all of anything that's in the pipeline at the moment at all.
Now, when do you think you two in the convention, because you do a lot of conventions in the UK, when do you think, in your mind, would be the appropriate time to start conventions in the UK?
I don't really know. Did you, Simon? I think that
the word appropriate is at this time is very difficult. Sort of say. I mean, there is a lot of easing of the rules.
Yeah.
My only concern, and this is me because I can be a little cautious, is that some of the easing is done politically. And the danger is that people will become too comfortable with easing the rules and then become very easy for them to sort of stop wearing the masks and stop what the rules were. And so there's the potential then of things to come back.
Right.
That's my only concern. But then those who know me now, I'm very skeptical of anything that comes from anybody with authority. Because there's always an ulterior motive.
I think a lot more thought. Sorry to jump in on you.
It's your show. It's your episode. Jump in.
It's my show. Hi. But no, I'm just thinking that once we get rid of this sort of 2 meter separation thing, and we go down to 1 meter, that's going to make it a lot easier. Then more and more people will be able to gather. I mean, goodness gracious me. I mean, the pubs aren't even open yet. I mean, that's dreadful as far as I'm concerned. But as soon as I think it's pretty much imminent that they're going to knock it down to 1 meter, which will be fine. And then I suppose I know that a lot of the shows, a lot of the conventions that were cancelled that I was invited to do last year, this year, are going to be rescheduled for next year. So I'm hoping that me and with a bit of luck, Simon will be relatively busy again up and down the country, and hopefully the States again, which would be nice. I love going to the States, and I'm sure that Simon does as well. We have
absolutely
great friends and had such good times there.
Now, Melanie, I think if I'm not mistaken, we still can't go to the UK. If we go to the UK, we have to be quarantined for 2 weeks. Is that still on?
It is at the moment, which is going to be stopped at the end of this week, I would have thought.
Oh, okay, good.
Or at the end of next week. I think that's mooted that they're going to stop it. It's just ridiculous.
Now, here's a strange one, and this is actually for the folks who are listening to us live. It's a PSA, at least in my county now, because the spike did go up. If you are going out today, for my fellow Floridians inside Orange County, over by next to Orlando, please, every business is now saying you have to wear a mask again because we have the spike to go up. So the masks are back on. So if you're listening to us and you're planning to go out and you're in the Central Florida area, please make sure you're putting on your mask. Please stay safe. Yeah, the spike went up a little bit, and that was expected. It was expected though, because
it wasn't a little bit.
Yeah. Well,
it went up because everyone was like, "We're open again," and they all went out, and now we're having crazy cases. It's the same thing in St. Petersburg as well as Tampa, that they're issuing a mandatory wear your mask, because even when I go to the store, and I go to the store once a week, and even then I try not going inside, I'll do the pickup. I'm always wearing a mask, and I'm staying more than 6 feet away. I actually believe in that term, avoid things like the plague, where I guess we need to come up with a new term because people don't do that anymore. Yeah. But a lot of people aren't wearing masks, aren't wearing all that kind of stuff. So,
Colin, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say that the masks are not compulsory here. The only times they're compulsory are on public transport. We can go to the shops. We can. People still do wear them. It's up to the individual, but it is actually compulsory on public transport to wear a mask. So that's the only law that we've got at the moment, which, as far as masks are concerned.
Well, it was an option here, and the thing was that SeaWorld had opened up last week. So, and my wife and I are both annual pass holders for SeaWorld and Aquatica. So we said, you know what, we'll try it. We'll try it offhand. So the first thing we did this past Saturday was we went to Aquatica. And because we were told by the CDC, if you're going to go to an actual theme park, water parks seem to be fine. There's chlorination, there's heat, there's humidity, which kills COVID instantly.
Yeah.
But the thing was, there's a lazy river that we like to go in. She loves to go into that lazy river. And the way that people were bumping on top of each other, you would have thought the pandemic had ended at that moment. Yeah. And we're going to SeaWorld. This is what I'm seeing with everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Up here, not the
down there,
which is off to the side here or something.
And they're not breathing through their mouths; they're breathing through their noses.
They're breathing through their noses. But there was one mother who was shouting for her kid and pulled it completely off and started shouting.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Whatever. There. Speaking of shouting, let's go back to the chats out here. Matthew Peck, he's saying hi to Robert Neal McGinn, who's actually in the chat. So Matthew says, I'm fine. I'm here, Matthew. So they're talking to the chats with each other. That's kind of cool there. We got Graham Krause. Good morning, Graham. How you doing there? Robin Flux there. Hi, guys. Thank you there.
Hi, Robin.
Now, we're going to continue with the chats in just a moment there. Colin, we're just got to go to a commercial break. When we return, we're going to continue our discussion with our special guest, Colin. Excuse me, it's Colin Spaull. When we return to the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS, please continue to stay logged on, tune in, and continue to become part of the legend. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. My name's Christian Basil. Right below me is the most wonderful man on the planet. Mr. Becker. Another man who's the most wonderful man on the planet. Right here to my left, to your right, is Mr. Colin Spaull, our special guest here. And the lovely Melanie Dean, artist and co-host and director of our show out here. We want to welcome you back. We're going to continue with our chats there, Colin, because we've got a lot of people up there this morning there. Back to Grant Perkins. He says, Wales Comic-Con is currently going ahead in August, but I'll imagine that is a subject to change.
Yeah, it seems well.
Were you guys scheduled to go to?
I wasn't invited anyway.
Oh, okay, well, there you go.
We do nothing about that.
So there we go.
But I will leave it to Grant Perkins to get us into that one, Simon. Yes. Go on, Grant, get us in, mate.
That's right, Grant. If you got the ears for there's two guys who definitely need to go. Never mind. There's two guys who definitely need to go. We got Simon, we got Colin. They'll be great out here. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Melanie.
There are a number of private signing conventions being mooted, but nothing's been confirmed as far as I know. So there's been a lot of contacting. Are you interested? And then I hear nothing. So you just don't know.
Don't read too much into that, Simon.
Sorry?
Because don't read too much into the fact that you've got nothing, mate. You're all right.
No, it's okay. I've passed that barrier. I had that barrier.
Well, I know a lot of conventions are starting to go the virtual route.
Yes.
But you can do, things like this where you can chat and whatnot. And at least if you want an autograph, you can submit a certain, say, this is a post box that you can submit, and then you'll, do the self-addressed thing, you'll get it back, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So there are little workarounds, but most of them are just saysaying, nope, we're postponing.
Yeah, good luck to all the organisers. It must be extremely frustrating. But and let's hope it all goes. I personally miss terribly going to conventions.
Yeah, I do.
And meeting up with Colin and the other celebrities is like a club.
It is.
And the only difference is, instead of saying, see you down in the club room, we say, see you in Chicago, see you in Florida. So that's the difference. And I must admit, a year ago, I didn't know how much it meant to me, whereas now in this lockdown.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, we actually answered Robin Flux's question. Are you thinking of going into a virtual convention? And we actually did that, I think, right at the start of conventions starting to close, Melanie. We did CyberCon 2020 with Garrett, and we had our own show. So, and we just did it from home like we're doing this right now.
San Diego Comic-Con is completely virtual, and I'm part of the art show usually every year there, and we're doing it as a virtual art show. So everyone's got a different Tumblr page because that's where they wanted it, and we have the artwork there. So organizers that are a little bit more tech savvy are really trying to figure out different ways around it and how they can still have some type of outreach to the geek community or the convention going community. But, other ones are just kind of in a, we don't have the time, we don't have the bandwidth to do this. We're just going to postpone, and we'll see you next year.
Yeah. And continue with the chats because I want to bring this up. I don't know if you guys know this gentleman, Adam Pearson. Hi, Christian Basil. This is playing in the 20 megabyte Doctor Who podcast group. Thank you so much, Adam, for bringing us in there. Guys, if you have a chance, when you get a chance to just go over to the Facebook page, check out Adam and friends over at the 20 megabyte Doctor Who podcast group. Give them a like. I'm giving a shout out for them. Hi, Colin, Melanie, and Simon. So you get a chance. It's an awesome podcast. I think, Adam, you do a live broadcast. Simon, who's behind you? Somebody just walked through the door and goes, nope.
They'll die in half.
Suddenly the door just kind of started moving open.
We just saw some eyes and go, nope.
I have to say my house does have a life of its own.
Don't say that. How haunted is it over there? I'm going to try to pronounce my this name as best I can. I think it's Kai's goal. And if I pronounce it improperly, give me the phonetic spelling over there. Two guys go wear a damn mask.
Kaizugu.
Tagaizagu? That was a heck of a lot better than I was trying for, but I hope I didn't butcher it that much. Utter fools, meaning people who don't wear a mask. Cannot wait for this whole mess to be over and we can safely go out and have fun, needing to worry about careless idiots not following the rules. Yep, yeah, I totally agree with you. And Dan Hadley ends up loving the new backdrop, Christian Basil. Yeah, you love my shower curtain, Dan? And Colin is a bit of a legend, isn't he?
Oh, only a bit, Dan. Thanks, mate.
Yeah.
Dan, thank you very much. It's very, very magnanimous of you. Thank you.
Dan and Adam, if you can do me a favor, just put a link to your podcasts. I'll put them up there in just a moment out there as we continue our little chat with Colin. Now, Colin,
yes.
I have a picture of you. I think it's the most recent picture that I have. Hang on one second. I think it's the most recent picture. You were in Wuthering Heights. I think that's you in Wuthering. No, that's not Wuthering Heights?
No, that's Great Expectations.
Great Expectations. Oh, okay. Well, I got... You have to tell us a little bit about this picture. You got
right. Okay, this is a BBC still, BBC taken on the set. I was about 12 or 13 years old, and it was about my third leading role on television, playing the part of Pip in Great Expectations, which was serialized by the BBC. Absolutely brilliant, a great part for a young actor. And that was one of my biggest leading roles to date. Although previously that I'd done a lot of children's BBC children's serials. There was a show called The Secret Garden. I'm not sure. I think whether you've heard of The Secret Garden. Maybe Melanie's heard of The Secret Garden or read The Secret Garden. Maybe that was another big story. So that's called Heidi. These are all children's afternoon classic serials that I did for the BBC.
Gotcha. There. Now, is this your first acting role? Would this technically?
No, my first acting role was it was a very small part in a film or something. I cannot even remember what it was called. But these photographs the photograph you just showed was a major role for me. In fact, I made the. We have in England our TV's programs are printed in a thing called the Radio Times, and I made the cover of that, and in fact it is that there. It is.
Oh wow!
That is the cover of the Radio Times, which I made the cover. My mother was very proud. I think she went out and bought every single copy that was ever printed.
Isn't that what mothers all do?
Yes. And she was the one that actually when she shuffled off this mortal coil, and I went up into the loft of the house and I found an old suitcase, and in the suitcase it was packed with all my old scripts, including Great Expectations, all the BBC scripts, lots of scripts I did, and lots of photographs that I did, and lots of letters that were sent to me, and so she managed to keep everything, and it worked out to be very good because I just finished my autobiography, and it was very handy to have all those memories and things. So yeah,
especially so that you could just quickly reference to everything, because bless her, she just kept every single piece of everything that she was so proud of you for. That's amazing.
Absolutely, yeah. I've got letters from the BBC. It used to be you did a show or something for the BBC, and they would send you a headed letter saying thank you for agreeing to be playing so and so in such and such, and then at the end they say thank you for your contribution to the show, and all headed letters. I've got loads of them, and some very old telegrams. It's a load of stuff. Absolutely unbelievable. It's a good job, because I know a lot of it can be found online, but I'm terrible with computers and things. I mean, I really don't know what on earth I'm doing, to be quite honest with you. I'm very ignorant as far as all these things concerned. You know, silly things like, I always thought that that Joan of Arc was Noah's wife, but apparently she's not.
Did you find that on Google? Everything's on the internet now.
A lot of the stuff has been brilliant. I've been able to find missing episodes as well of various things I've done.
Oh wow!
So
I got another picture over here.
Yeah.
tell us a
Yep.
little bit about this one. And for those of you,
that was a BBC Player of the Week or Player of the Month. I'm not quite sure. It was called The Gun, and I haven't got a lot of recollection about it, but I was playing a young dragoon officer, and
looks like a sword though.
yes, with the ceremonial sword. Yeah, that was great. I remember doing it. So, yeah, but it's a long time ago. I've not changed a bit, have I? Look at the state of me there. Yeah.
Devil may care look, very roguish.
I know.
Yes, roguish. Yes, yeah. That's a good. Yeah. Thanks. Good roguish is. Yeah, I like that. Roguish. Yeah.
The gorgeous man there, Mr. Colin Spaull. Absolutely gorgeous.
Thank you very much.
Well, I guess I'm curious, what brought you into the world of acting? When did you get hit with the acting bug? When did you say, this is the job I'm going to be going for at this moment?
Well, I suppose I was at drama. I was at school, a normal school, and my teacher said I was quite good at sight reading and things, and he suggested that I went to a drama school, a very famous drama school in England, and at the time it was probably the most famous, probably the only one at the time. It was a school called the Italia Conti Stage School, and it produced a lot of big names, Jack Hawkins, and what huge number of even Noel Coward was trained there, people like that. So, and so I went there on a Saturday morning just purely for drama lessons and helping to get rid of my London accent, which I had then, and then they were also an agency for theatre and television, for a child's agency. And so they represented me, and I did about a year going on Saturday mornings for 2 hours, and then they said, we think that Colin it might be good for him to come along as a full-time student and train with us in the theatre arts and singing, dancing, acting, elocution, and then I started getting little jobs, and I think one of my main first roles I did was to play. There was a television series going called. God, this is going back a few years. Jennings at School, which was about a boys' boarding school, written by Anthony Buckeridge, I believe. I think Simon's nodded. He's obviously heard of Jennings at School. And in it, I played a character called Venables. And something that I might say of interest, which is also in my upcoming book, the young actor that played Venables, that played Jennings, title name in the title role, was a friend called John Mitchell, and John and I became great friends. We were about 12, I think, and 12 or 13, and we became great friends. And he went on. He had a drum kit. He used to play the drums very well. I mean, and he sort of taught me the rudiments of drum playing. I'm no good, but anyway, he really gave up acting, and he's probably better known as the drummer for the Hendrix Four, the Jimi Hendrix trio. He was Mitch Mitchell, is of the Hendrix of Hendrix fame, and unfortunately no longer with us, but. Yes, he was a great mate of mine, and I used to bash around on his drums, and he made a fortune and made a big name for himself as an incredible drummer. So that's really about the start of it, and then I started getting better and better parts, and then in 1957 I became the youngest member of the Old Vic Company. I played all the boy parts in Shakespeare at the Vic. I've had a varied career.
You got an impressive career. I mean, you've been in Inspector Morse. You've been in The Bill.
Yeah.
Casualty.
Yeah.
I mean, I usually what I call the Hugh Laurie effect is that if you see Colin Spaull, you'll say, "Oh, okay, he was a character on Doctor Who for a couple of episodes." Then you get to his resume, and you're like, "Holy cow, where has this guy been?" I've seen him somewhere before, but now it's just catching up out there. Melanie, we're on a commercial break. Is that correct? Okay. When we return, we're going to continue our discussion with the legendary Colin Spaull, and I just want to make sure I get this right. Tak Yu Kai Zogo. Tak Yu Kai Zogo. Did I get that right? I just want to make sure before we get to the commercial break, I get his name right.
Sogo.
That's how we're pronouncing it. If I did it wrong, I am so
Cool.
sorry. We still love you out there on the YouTube channel. When we return, please continue to stay logged on, tune in, and continue to become part of the legend. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. My name is Christian Basil. We're here with Simon Fisher Becker. You know him better as the Blue Man himself, Dorian Moldova. So bored again.
Every time.
Oh, yeah.
He's never going to let me. I'm not good with names anywhere at 8:30 in the morning in Florida. It's fine, but I got
That's
Simon
okay,
Fisher Becker
Barry.
right. That's the important part there. I'm here with our lovely co-host and director Melanie Dean, the artiste Melanie Dean. You can check her stuff out on Instagram at Pieces of Melee. Pieces of Melee on the Instagram channel, and we're here interviewing our wonderful and lovely Colin Spaull. Let's go ahead and get back to the chats because we had a lot of them populate as we were talking. Virtual, like this works great for me. Live too far away from the main convention routes. Well, Graham, thanks for joining us. There. We have MechaVoid Production. Hello, everybody. Hope you're all well. We hope you're all well there too, out there on the Simon, shut up. I know it's coming. Just shake your head.
I'm the last to criticize. Just take a deep breath. This reminds me, I'm just going to put out. If you haven't got it in the States yet, look out for it. David Tennant, Michael Sheen.
Yes.
A series called Staged.
Yes. I've seen bits of it.
Absolutely hysterical.
Yes.
Great.
But I think I found it hysterical because I identified with everything they were doing. But absolutely brilliant. I've howled with laughter. I even had the neighbours knocking on the door to ask if I was okay. So I recommend that to everyone.
You and Colin should do the same thing later on today. Yes. And speaking of Rose Brown, we want to welcome you to the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS live chat. I wonder if they would still do memorabilia sales, and if they did, how would they? Like, how would vendors and such sell action figures and comics and etc.? From what we did on CyberCon, we actually had. I still. You can correct me on this, Melanie. They had the vendors online, but they were selling their products, because I think you were one of the people that was doing that, right?
Well, typically it's. I think if you realize it, a lot of people who, whether you're in the acting community, if you're an artist, if you're a vendor, whatnot, you have some type of online presentation or an online presence individually, so you can sell. You have some type of online store somewhere. So in order to do that kind of aspect, a lot of people would have either a Google Doc or some type of spreadsheet, or you would just have a list of, hey, go to this person's website, and then they could tell you whether they have an Etsy page, if they have their own personal website where you can purchase autographs from, and they just kind of use it as a venue of sharing the information of where you can get to their personal links. So if you think about it, you go to a convention, you can get someone's business card and go, oh, okay, you have a shop here at yourname.com. Mm-hmm. You could buy it directly that way.
And our friend Matthew Peck, who is over at Doctor Who Infinity. Also, this is showing in Doctor Who Infinity. Simon was kind enough to do a Q&A for us last year. So check them out over on the Facebook page, Doctor Who Infinity, giving a shout out there. Also, again, we're giving a shout out because Adam posted it here. Facebook groups. This is going to be on the Facebook page, so you can just copy and paste if you can't be able to read it. Or if you do a search for the 20 megabyte Doctor Who podcast on popbean.com, go check him out there. Adam does live feeds from the Facebook channel. I've been trying to catch them, Adam, but they're just weird bonker hours sometimes when I catch them out there. But I see them, so I know you guys are doing them out there. So do check them out there. Also, Roy Garden. Hi guys, good morning from Tennessee. Yeah. Got some folks from Tennessee joining us out here. And Robert Neal McGinn, I have to go now, unfortunately. I'm a bit busy. Okay. Well, thanks for joining us, Robert. I'm glad you checked us out there. And Talk You Kazogo. Close think my fault was with how I put the zo. Okay, more like a casual sounds instead of oh. I'll probably be.
We'll have a show dedicated to phonetic lessons.
Exactly.
And we'll have an array of characters who've come on, and he's destroyed their name. We'll start with Simon.
No, it's Dorian Moldabar. Added stage to the watch list. Thank you so much there. Adam Pearson, our convention fan, TC Con has been postponed for 1 year. Now 30th of October. Melanie, we're having some issues too down in Florida because all the conventions are out over here either canceled or now going for fall. Fall. They're on top of each other. In fact, one point I think two of the bigger cons, SuperCon and Tampa Bay Comic Con, were on top of each other. Yes. They were literally July 4th weekend in July. I was like,
and one postponed and one didn't.
One postponed and one didn't, and it's Tampa Bay, so just like I guess we're still going out there. Colin, speaking of conventions, your best and your most interesting convention experience out there. I know you've been to a few of them, but which ones really have gone out there?
They're all brilliant. I love them, and I have all the time in the world for the fans because if it wasn't for them, we would not be there. Mm-hmm. But I think I knew nothing about conventions. I think I bumped into Fraser one day, and he said to me, "Oh," he said, "you were in Doctor Who." I said, "Yeah." He said, "I don't see you at the conventions." I said, "What conventions?" He said, "We do conventions. We go around the world, and there's a cruise and a bit." I said, "What?" And then, funnily enough, about a week later, I had an email from a gentleman in Scotland, in Glasgow. And they said, "Mr. Spaull, we would like to invite you to our convention in Glasgow on whenever it was." This was my very first convention, and I said, "Well, I said I'm flattered." I said, "But if I were to come to your convention and turn up at your convention, would anybody know who the hell I was?" And he said to me, "Mr. Spaull, I can tell you they will know exactly who you are." Yes. And so on that premise, I agreed. And I turned up at this convention in Glasgow, and I walked into this room, and it was all bubbling. It was like a little theatre, set up like a little theatre. It was where I was going to do a Q&A, and there was a buzz going on. And as soon as I walked into the room, it went very quiet, and I heard people saying, "Oh, look, there's Colin Spaull. There's Colin Spaull." I thought, "Oh my God, they do know who I am." And that was my first experience, and I did it actually. With Sylvester was the first person I met on there, and we've been great mates ever since. Yeah, but that was my first main experience. But I mean, I love them. I love the American conventions. Mm-hmm. They're big and they're brash. Everybody dresses up and they spend a fortune on looking right, and they're brilliant. And so anyone watching this broadcast and you're thinking of doing a convention next year, and Simon Becker, Becker and I are definitely love to come along.
Yes, and we do panels together a lot.
We do panels.
We have a good laugh. Yeah, I have to sort of say my experience initially was very, very similar to Colin's, and that initial acknowledgement that people actually knew who I was very bizarre.
Yeah.
But in fact, you have to experience to understand. Would you agree, Colin? It's difficult to explain.
Yes.
Bizarre, but wonderful.
Great.
And as an actor who likes to have his ego massaged along with other things.
Yeah.
So it's wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
Yes.
Oh dear, what has Christian?
Well, yes, I don't know.
Among other things,
yep.
It's the thought of your ego being massaged that was lots of.
So
did I misspeak?
Moving rapidly on.
Not at all. You're good.
The punchline just landed really well with him.
Yes, it did.
Oh, yes. And I also find that the American conventions are lovely, and I do, and I always try to put some humour into my things, and I tell the odd story and things. But sometimes I remember once I said, I think I was in Miami or Florida, somewhere Florida way, and I said that it was my first time going to Florida, I think it was, and. I said, "It's really lovely to be here." I said, and I understand it's quite expensive, this area for buying things. And as soon as I knew that I was going to be coming here, I went to see my bank manager and asked him to check my balance, and he pushed me over. So, and then, but it went straight over their heads. So I try not to tell too many now.
we have to bring you back for one reason and one reason only. At least, not only just two reasons: to see you, and plus you got so close to the traveling TARDIS, but not that close. There's Fraser right there.
Yes.
There's Peter.
Yeah, there's Peter.
And the other two that got clipped off, I think it was.
You have no idea who that guy is in the middle at all. Great. Yes, I remember doing that shot. Yes, I remember doing that.
You say you know Fraser. What's that?
Where was that?
That was a convention in Orlando, and they had it was before a Bon Voyage party. So we this was there's a couple other people. Gosh, I wish. Oh, Terry Malloy and Ian McNeice are on the far left, and unfortunately they got cut out of the picture there. But Colin was there at the convention, and it was lovely just to meet them all. And I got a chance to talk with all of them. And there is a full-length picture. I'll put it up on the Traveling TARDIS. It's actually been up on the Traveling TARDIS with all 5 of them. But at a downtime that they had, I said to the 5 of them, I said, I would like to get a picture with all of you. And every one of them was very willing. And they go, how do you want us to pose? And I said, I want you to pose as if how your character would react to the TARDIS. And what you don't see is Terry on the left actually trying to grab it out of David's hand, and Ian doing the same thing, and Colin was just grabbing to the left. And I think all their characters would try to grab it out of David's hand, to tell you the truth there.
Peter's hand.
Peter. How did I say David? Oh gosh,
Peter.
You know, that family just messes me up. Simon, shut up. I know you're gonna say.
I didn't realize telepathy worked well.
It does, especially when. So yes, Peter Davison, which he was one of my first interviews ever when I on other shows when I first interviewed him, and I made the cardinal mistake, which I tried not to do, which was I said Davidson. So. Now every time I see him, he reminds me of that little fact. Speaking of a little fact, we have a commercial break. When we return, we're going to continue on with our interview with Colin Spaull. Please continue to stay logged on, tune in, and continue to become part of the legend. Melanie, is this third or fourth? Fourth segment, okay. Sorry. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, Whovians all over the Whoniverse. My name is Christian Basil. Welcome back to the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS radio show. We're on the final segment with our interview with Colin Spaull. I'm here with the lovely Simon Fisher Becker as Dorian Moldavar. There's my deep breath. Yeah. Well if you're not seeing this, Simon just gave me a little applause. They were getting his character name right.
Well done.
We're here with Melanie Dean, artiste, director, and co-host of the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. And again, we're continuing our interview with Colin Spaull. Now, Colin, I got to ask. I do have a few chats in the chats waiting, but I got to ask this. What is the moment in your acting career that you're most proudest of? Not necessarily your favorite. What are you most proud of?
Wow. That's the hard one. I think something I'm proud of that I didn't realize that I was proud of it was, I think, probably not realizing where I was and who I was working with was when I was at the Old Vic. The names on that season are phenomenal, and I didn't realize who I was working with and what I was doing, and it was only after years later I suddenly thought, my God, I worked with those people. I was at the Old Vic. That was probably one of the highlights of my career, I would have thought. Yeah, quite well. Yeah, there's a few really good. And chatting, I was walking down a mountainside in Austria, and I was out there making a picture, and I was walking down this mountainside chatting with a gentleman who was at the time probably the most famous British actor working in Hollywood at the time. It was David Niven.
Oh.
And I was working with David doing a movie, and it was just that thought that nobody could see. There's no record of it whatsoever. But there's this unknown British actor strolling down a mountainside with David Niven. I mean, how weird is that? Mm-hmm. So that's another thing which is quite memorable.
Well, it's neat that you have the mindfulness to kind of look at these things and go, oh my God, you know, when you take yourself out of it and go, wait a minute, pinch me. Am I really doing this? But then keeping that also in your mind and not out, you know, saying it out loud.
Yeah.
But no, that's fantastic. I have a quick question since you've been a member of the Old Vic, is that your favorite theater to perform on the boards of, or is there any other theaters that you were just like, you know what, there's something special about being in the proscenium of this one that's just...
I think every theatre has its quirks, and they're all different. They're all different, and I've trod the boards in quite a few theatres up and down the country, and also in London as well. And they're all different. It's difficult to say is it's a favourite theatre. That was the last time when I was with the Vic, the last time I actually trod the boards at the Vic. Although many, many, many years later, I was asked to do the world tour of Hamlet with Derek Jacobi, joining Vic Company doing the world tour. And to my forever sorrow and my agent's desperate rage, I turned it down because I was having a difficulty. I was married and I'd been on tour doing a play, and of course it all got a bit strong. So, and I said, I came back bouncing, said, I'm going around the world with Derek Jacobi and Hamlet. And so it was either that or my marriage. I unfortunately decided a few months later we split anyway. So I should have gone, really, shouldn't I? But you
can say Derek Jacobi broke up my marriage.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can actually say that.
Yeah. But it's an understandable quandary because you need to have that work-life balance, and here it was kind of like almost too much work, and hindsight being what it is, it's at the time.
You know, she was fully aware that I was an actor, and you know, I was off had to do things, and but there we go. That's by the by. I regret it desperately, but there we go. That's it. Yeah. But so that she was my second wife, and so I'm now on my third. She's not good. Not got a good track record as far as weddings and marriages are concerned. Yeah.
In Hollywood, you're doing great.
Yeah. Well,
by Hollywood standards, you're just doing fine.
Yeah, by Hollywood standards,
you're in par.
My first wife, actually, I lived in Brighton in the south coast of it in England, and my first wife, she ran off with the chap that used to live right next door to me. I do miss him. But there we go.
Oh, God.
Terrible jokes coming out now. And that is not true. That's totally untrue. I was just being silly.
This is the part where you retract and goes, maybe that's not a good story to tell. Maybe I shouldn't confess this thing. Speaking of confessions, we got a few of the chats. Let me go ahead and jump on in there. Adam Pearson from our friends at 20 Megabyte Podcast. Our convention fan TCCon has been postponed. So we already went through that. Fraser Hines was a guest at Fan TCCon until it was postponed, hoping to retain him for the new date.
I usually work very well with Fraser at conventions. Can I go on that one?
Yes.
I'm writing it down.
You can go. I don't know if they'll get you, but I'll tell you can go there. A question for Colin from Carl Witzman. Was there a big difference in attitude or emotion on the set between the classic Who and the current Who recordings? Was one of them more comfortable, etc.? So I get, was there a differential?
I get this question a lot, you know, and it's really it's the difference between working on the old Who, the classic Who, and the new Who. Really,
sets were more sturdier.
The classic Who was we had rehearsal time. We actually were there for a week rehearsing and plotting planning and you working on your character and everything, and that was fine. And then when we came to do it many years later, there is no rehearsal time. You go up with a sort of preconceived idea of the way you want to play the character and hope that everyone likes the way you're going to play the character. And you just get on, you have a line run and a camera rehearsal, and then you shoot it. So what is missing is the build up, is where the work is done between actors. And if you're working with an actor in a scene and you start rehearsing this scene, and then things come out of that scene, you think, oh, he said it that way. That means I can then go from my original idea and do it that way. And you bounce off each other. And this is where the scene is made. But you can't do that in today's television films or shows. That's probably the difference between the two, is literally the rehearsal time, the amount of time you have to get to prepare and get yourself a character.
Oh, well, I was going to actually ask that question. When you went back to Doctor Who for the second time, what was the mentality of that? Like, I already did this once, but I'll do it again.
Yeah, it was much the same. It was a totally different experience, in as much as I say the rehearsal back to doing the virtually straight in front of the camera. Although now it's the same anyway. Now there are no rehearsals as such. Excuse me. When I was doing Casualty and things like that, and Holby City and the bill, it's also, there's no rehearsals anywhere. And I was working with Catherine Tate. I digress. Catherine Tate show, we did rehearse when I did the show with Catherine. But basically it's in front of the camera. Let's do it and get on with it. You don't sit around rehearsal and kick things around and do it this way, so do it that way. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Want to continue the chats with Tak Yu Kai Zogo. He gives me a rip on saying Davidson as well. So, yeah. And he adds to any particular character you haven't played but would one day love to, and why, Colin?
When I did Great Expectations, I played Pip, which is as a boy. It was a 13-part serial. And I was in the first 3 episodes because I was playing Pip as a boy. I would love to have gone on and played Pip as a young man and continued the whole thing. That was a lovely part, the part of Pip. Philip Pirrup is correct, even his correct name. That would have been lovely. And then I did a lovely play many years ago in the theatre called The Winslow Boy, which I don't know whether it's known in the States or not, but the character Sir Robert Morton, who's the counsel, the QC, the Queen's Counsel, or Casey, I think was in King's Counsel. And I'd love to play Sir Robert Morton in that, which would have been rather nice. But probably there's a load of things I would like to have played but haven't done. But those 2 things actually pop into my mind.
Gotcha there. And Carl Witzman, that actually explains a lot of why characters seem more flat now. Okay. Gotcha there. Well, we're going to end the chats right now. We've got a few minutes left before the show time ends. And we started on the show and I did not get to it, but I wanted to end with this question. You were in a movie with William Hartnell. Tell us just a little bit about that while we got a few minutes left.
That was a movie. It was a comedy show called Heavens Above, directed by a famous brothers called the Bolting Brothers. There was he was in it, and I met him very briefly. Spoke to him, I think, for a few minutes, I suppose, but didn't make great friends with him. But nevertheless, he went on to become the first Doctor. So that's my claim to fame. I worked with the first Doctor, so that's the reason for that. And interesting. It was an interesting film. I was doing that movie, and another chap from the same drama school as me, playing a young lad in a film called I Could Go On Singing, which starred Judy Garland and Dirk Bogarde. And we were both on different sound stages, but we used to meet up because we were school friends. We used to meet up at lunch and have lunch together. And Greg, his name was Gregory, and Greg introduced me to this American lady, young American girl, was about 15, I think. And I had a motorbike, a scooter thing, and he I used to take this young lady on the back of my scooter around the lot in the studios, and this went on for a few days because she was there with her mother. Her name was Liza Minnelli, and so I had Liza Minnelli on the back of my scooter, and we became great friends. And but then I lost contact.
Oh, good.
A claim to fame.
Well, speaking of lost contact, Colin, this is the end of the show, and as much as we want to continue on out there, we really need to make a longer show. But anyway, Colin, thank you so much for being our guest today. Simon, Melanie, thanks for being on the panel today, and thank you, everyone, for watching and joining us. Later today, we are doing our interview at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time with Nick Briggs, so if you want to stick around, some of the crew will be back to return here. Other than that, thank you for joining us. Please wear your masks, stay safe, and always come part of the legend.
Thank you.
And Melanie, cut. Here is where we end it. Or put the end right there. There we go. You guys can stick around. Colin, thank you so much. We're still live, but right now that's the end of the audio broadcast. So if you need to go, I totally understand. Simon, if you need to go, I totally understand.
Well, Mother Nature will call soon.
Yes.
But we didn't get to mention Colin's book.
No, we
Yeah.
didn't.
Do it now. So at least
Yes,
do it now.
Yeah.
People
Okay.
are still watching.
Okay.
What book? Because we always edit it in.
It's I've my autobiography is with the printers. It's my life, and it's called Colin Who. Colin Who with a question mark, but it's not all about Doctor Who. The reason I called it Colin Who was that many years ago, as a young actor, I was probably about sort of 18 or something, and somebody said to me, "What do you do for a living?" I said, "Well, I'm an actor." "Oh, yes." He said, "And what's your name?" I said, "Colin Spaull." He said, "Colin Who?" And when I came to write the biography, I thought, what a great name. It does encompass the Doctor Who as well. Yeah. So, and that's what it's called. It's full. Give it its full title. It's a very grand title. It's called Colin Spaull, The Autobiographical Ramblings of the Actor Colin Spaull. There we go. That's it. So and it's I believe being launched on August the 15th. So,
okay. Published by Fantastic Books Publishing.
Yeah. Fantastic Books Publishing. Yes, give them a plug. Yeah. So hopefully, but it's being done on their virtual. Con, because we did it a couple of years ago, didn't we, Simon? The con up there when you had your book.
Yes. So will it be available on Amazon?
I think so. I'm not quite sure.
Well, look out for it, everybody.
Yes.
Yeah,
will be the bestseller.
Link out there yet?
Yeah, I was doing the same thing. And Colin, if you can remind me when the link drops to the purchase of your book, send it to me, and we'll make sure it goes to the Traveling TARDIS page.
Right. I've no idea where or how anything about it at all. I know they say they're going to launch it on August the 15th, but once I don't hear anymore, I will probably put something online or something.
I'm putting a note in my calendar now, so it pops up to say, "Hey, do a quick search for."
Lovely. Oh, that's great. Yeah, that'll be good.
Oh, there's Lady Gallifrey. Hi there, Gina.
What we try to do is we try to make sure that we put both links, so it'll be the Amazon.com and the .co.uk, and then wherever else, naturally the book will be. But usually I try to make sure that both audiences can find.
Good. Oh, that's great.
Definitely. Melanie's going to make sure that time frame mentioning your book is going to somehow make its way back into the.
Okay.
So we're still done with
that way. We also put in our little Who Knew News. So whatever we happen to be recording to be released, then it'll be brought up going, "Hey, here's all of the news that's going on in the world of Doctor Who," and I'll make sure that's one of the bylines.
Well, lovely. Thank you, my lovely. That's brilliant.
Of course.
Adam said, "Sorry, everyone, I have to go and bake some shortbread now." Adam, you do realize if you make an announcement on Facebook that you're making a meal, you have to give it to everybody who is in earshot of who's.
I like food.
Yeah, especially some shortbread out there. Graham Krause, thank you so much, Colin, for giving your time and experiences. So appreciated. Graham Perkins. Eva says hi.
Lovely Eva. Hi, Eva.
Hey, folks.
She's lovely, Eva. You get a big cuddle from Eva every time you see her.
Oh, we're in the after broadcast party. This is not being part of the audio, but if you have any final moments or questions before we part, Colin, if you need to go, I understand. Get you some whatever you need to do, but this is just last minute chats or something. If anybody wants to jump in and say something.
So I'll be leaving you in about 5 minutes.
That's fine.
A couple of things to do. Not a lot really, but.
And again, folks, 8:30 for the folks on the Eastern Standard Time. No, 9:30 on the Eastern Standard Time, which is just a half hour away. We're going to be interviewing Nick Bricks and his new audio dramatization, the Human Frontier, which I did not have a chance to listen to. So I'm going to ask Nick to convince me to listen to the Human Frontier. So we're going to make him work during his show there. But yeah, Colin, thank you so much. I'm hoping you guys can come back to the States sometime soon. And I know that's probably more realistic in 2021, which is
I hope so too.
Yeah, between traveling and depending on what states want to do when people come in, because I think Florida now New York is now making the thing where if you travel from Florida into New York, you need to wait 14 days.
Oh, really?
Because Florida's now having more of a spike. The states that reopened are all trending upwards again.
That sort of highlights what I was saying earlier on. I'm very cautious that doing things too soon.
Yeah.
And of course, the problem we've got is there's so many people with different ideas. You don't know who to believe.
Yeah.
Right.
I will say I found it bizarre when they announced that shops could open this week, Colin. There were these people running in. It was like the Harrods sale. And the number of them that weren't wearing a mask was just quite extraordinary.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't think this is my opinion, strictly my opinion. I don't think we have had a huge amount of the spike if people would just take it seriously. If you're going to go to the store, throw on the mask. Like I said, I wasn't joking. I'm seeing people like this. I'm like, you're kind of defeating all the purpose. Or they weren't wearing a mask at all, and they had a family of 10, and the kids are walking around touching stuff. And a lot of people were, some of my friends were saying, why are you going to the convention? Da, 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 da. And I said, I don't think, there doesn't seem to me a difference between if I get COVID at convention or my local grocery store somehow. COVID's going to find me somehow. It's going to work its way. So as long as I do the rules, social distancing, masking up, because you never know who's been, people been walking in and out of stores. So everybody's in contact. So it's hard to follow directions when there's 10 different directions at the same time. That's the
on this side of the pond, we've had directions that have been completely contradicted by the end of the sentence.
Mm-hmm.
So so that's been a bit of an issue, and that's why people are claiming to be confused, and in some cases, I think justifiably so. But there we go. We're here. It's lovely doing this sort of.
Absolutely, yes.
But
thank you very much.
thank you.
I'm desperate to meet up with friends, and
yes, me too. Yeah,
even if it's a Barbie in the garden.
Yeah,
yeah.
It'd be nice.
Well, that's the thing about conventions too, is that we've been 3 months non-affectionate. That's conventions. We have to hug. We have to kiss. We have to embrace. We have to do selfies. We have to make contact. That's just being human.
Yeah.
And to take that away for months, that for some people, it just doesn't brings anxiety, depression.
Yes, absolutely.
I actually, I'm not going to say the name of the person, but I actually had a father who mentioned his son passed away because of depression. And it's, we always hear the stories about what COVID does on the outside of the house, but not what inside the house it does too. So it's a war going in and out, and it's hard. Yeah. But I think if we just do it right, we can get back to normal faster than we could. And Carl says you're right, Simon, right on politics and economics push every opening. Richard Wynn, hello there was Doctor Who. Hello here was Doctor Who. Okay.
Richard.
So
Young.
Adam Pearson, we record at 7 p.m. Eastern evening, British Standard Time. My end of the recording with audio of the other presenters goes live on the 20 megabyte Doctor Who podcast Facebook group. We're reviewing the Caves of Androzani as part of our journey through every story. Oh, good grief.
I think
Okay.
directed by Graham Harper, I think.
Mm.
Oh, what is
Speaking
it,
of
Simon?
VHS.
Wow.
Do you know I've got a whole suitcase of VHS? Whole
When
suit.
we started chatting about the VHS, I have a box of just old Doctor Who VHSs that remember this. I met a nice woman that was years ago, like on Craigslist. She's like, I'm getting rid of all my VHS tapes. Who wants them? I'm like, I'll grab them because I don't mind. I still have a VHS player. I'll watch them on there. It's kind of fun. And she's like, yeah, I've moved. I mean, the woman, she had to have been in her 90s, bless her heart. And she was just like, yeah, I've moved to digital. I don't need these things anymore. Meanwhile, I'm going over there getting VHS.
I have to admit, I have to respect a lot of people over 85 are far more with it, with the modern technology.
Yeah.
Than those under 85.
Yes.
I had a great aunt who lived to 101, and she was Star Trek's oldest fan.
Oh, right.
At one point, but she, at her time, she died in 2005. Whatever the up-to-date technology was, she had it.
Yeah, that was honestly my grandmother.
Yeah,
she was the same way. At 90.
I'm going to break up. Someone just arrived at my door.
No,
Colin, it's been an absolute pleasure.
And you, Simon. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you very much, Christian. And thank you, my darling, for inviting me.
Of course.
Thank you, Colin. I'll
Bye.
get with you right back. Okay.
Thank you. Bye.
Christian, take him out.
I'm taking him out.
Yeah.
In the take him out of the broadcast way, not the
yes.
Take him out.
Well, there's kick him out and ban from studio.
Kick. Just remove him from the stream. There we
go. So
no, I was gonna say it's like my grandmother. She bless her heart. She made it to about 94, I believe. But when I saw her in the nursing home, she was always that same type where she just got technology. And at one point, I wanted to show her a photo, and I show her to my phone, and she takes the phone. This is the first time she's ever seen a smartphone. So this is about maybe 6 years ago, and she just looks at it, and without even looking, she starts zooming and pinching, and she goes, "Oh, this is very intuitive. This is nice." She goes, "How can I get one of these?" And I'm like, "Do they make anything bigger?" And I'm like, "Oh, a tablet. It's this size. I'm gonna need one of those." And because she understood the user interface, but some people are just nope. My mother, I can't stop her from texting. She sends me emojis like crazy.
I'm sort of halfway house, really, in that once I've got used to something and I know how it works, I'm absolutely fine. It's when you get a blasted update, then changes things completely.
Mm-hmm.
And I had an update of something this week, and for some reason, all my saving of documents from the 16th of June didn't happen.
Oh, no.
And I only found out because I had to go back to one of the documents. And of course, so yesterday I was having to sort of go through things that I'd worked on and do it all again. So frustrating. And what was bizarre is on the system when I checked, it said I did save, but it didn't save.
But it didn't.
Yeah, exactly. That was my expression because I don't understand and I want to know, So,
no, wait, what?
No, because everybody, I mean, instantly, you've done something is the accusation. Well, I don't know what I did.
Yeah.
Because you know yourself, if you're working on a document and you go to leave it, if you haven't saved it, it asks you, do you want to save? Yeah. So I know I did, but anyway.
Yeah.
Fortunately, what I learned is it was actually because I'd done it, it was much quicker than to put it right.
Oh, just to go ahead and just do it again. Because you already went through the exercise.
Yeah, so I'd already so in that sense it wasn't so bad. But when it happened at first, oh dear. Yep.
Lord knows I've done that while I'm at work, while I'm working in working a spreadsheet in Excel, and I've gone through, I've done all these formulations, I've done a billion VLOOKUPs, I've made a pivot table, I've got all my data already sorted and ready. I save it and it's nowhere. And then I realized, well, where the hell did it go? I know I clicked save. And then I realized I had it was emailed to me, and I was working on an opened email attachment. I didn't save it to my desktop. So I saved it, but it's gone. So it's that same thing of going, okay, well, you know what? I've just done the exercise. I'm just going to do it again. I'm not going to I'm already pulling my hair out trying to find where it's saved.
Yeah, because you could spend so much energy trying to find it, sort of thing. And where it would be just a lot quicker just to do it again.
And you're getting aggravated, and having that aggravation level going up, that frustration's just compounding you trying to get your thing done.
Yeah. What was I going to say? Yes, but the real frustration was that I'd gone to my computer to actually do something I'd planned to do that day. Mm-hmm. Found I couldn't do it because I had stuff I was doing. But there we go. Deep breath. Move on.
Like that.
Moldavar.
Yeah, just deep breath forward, just move on. It's frustrating, but let it go. Yeah.
Simon, you're going to be joining us for the Nicholas interview?
I probably won't, because I actually have quite a bit to do. I'm quite busy today, so or I may. I'll let you know.
Okay, because that's in 20 minutes.
It's in 20 minutes. No, if it's in 20 minutes, the answer is definitely no, because after you, I've got 3 phone calls I've got to do.
Okay.
Plus, I've got a casting.
What?
Yeah. I won't tell you what it's.
Okay, don't tell me what. No, so
I won't tell you what it. I won't tell you what it's for.
But you're able to. You're going to be just doing a Skype.
I got to do a self tape.
Okay, that's what my next thing is. If you have to self tape.
Yeah,
because I'm noticing a lot of some people I know that in the industry are just they're like almost foregoing self taping and just doing it live on a Zoom.
I mean, some casting directors want you to do it live. Mm-hmm. Or before lockdown, what I had a series of, which was a bit frustrating, is you're asked to send in a self tape, and then they call back and say, "Oh, we would like to do a Skype or a Zoom or whatever." You think, "Oh, right," and all they wanted me to do was do exactly what I did on the self tape.
They didn't give you any notes?
No, they said, "We liked what you did. We just want you to do it again." And it happened 3 times. And then I found I was trying to ask, because I was so confused. I was trying to get them to ask me to do more. Do you know what I mean?
No,
And then I didn't get the jobs.
Nice.
Because I would think if you're doing, essentially you send in your self-tape, and then if they're calling you back, that's your callback, except you're having to do it through Zoom. So I'm like, okay, I'm getting a callback. What notes do you have for me? Nothing.
No, sometimes in the past you had to go into the office, and then they'd ask you back. Right. And you're asked to do exactly the same, because you then had to do it before a panel of 4 or 5 other people. Mm-hmm. Whereas initially the first call is just with 1 person or maybe 2. Mm-hmm. But this is a lovey's life. That's what it is. And, I've been doing it long enough now, but I can perfectly understand how younger actors get so very frustrated with how the system works. Very frustrated. And I feel very sorry for those who've just come out of college and then it's lockdown.
Yeah.
I know my agent said she took
You wanted a job? Not this year.
You're all mad. What on earth made you think you'd have a job?
Yep. Well, it is kind of interesting that how this has become almost like a little great equalizer, because it's look, we're all learning at the same. We're all back to 1 right now. We are all there going, okay.
Yeah, we're all back to 1. Although there are auditions, this particular one I got to just do a self-tape before. It says they're planning to film in Europe and UK, right? Provided all this nonsense is sorted out. Which Yeah.
Well, here's a quick question for you, and I don't know if it's going to be quick, but I know before Brexit, it would probably be easier for you to have it be on a company that's like, okay, we're going to be filming, I don't know, in Romania or, you know, somewhere in the EU, and then in the UK, you're like, okay, so we'll split in and out. What happens now with Brexit? Do you have to do work visas and all that other kind of stuff, because
that's a far too complicated question. In the sense, nobody in our government will be able to give us an answer to that. But I mean, we're now saying we're going regardless is now the state of things. Mm-hmm. So from the 1st of January 2021, that's when we'll find out what we need, because you book your flights and then suddenly they'll ask for this, that, and the other. But that was it. I mean, I had the luxury many years ago, for about 7, 8, or 9 years, to regularly go to the continent and to Scandinavia. And there are several countries, Ireland, Germany, Italy. I mean, there's several countries in Europe where you have to pay their local VAT or whatever, sales tax or whatever. Okay. But being a member of Europe, you just filled out a form and you got it back.
Yeah.
Whereas that won't be an option now. So in other words, I've already programmed myself that my commission technically will increase.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I discussed it with my agent, and I said, well, then surely my fees should increase to accommodate that. And she said, I'm not sure it'll turn out that way. No. It's
like, no, we haven't altered our budget at all. It's okay. You're going to get to pay for it.
Dear, oh dear. It's been very interesting because there's been I'm going to be very positive for the country, for the UK government, in that they have tried to help the self-employed. Mm-hmm. They've offered all sorts of schemes to help us. But some people, and me included, just don't fit into it because of their criteria. And their criteria is set up with them not actually understanding our industry. So, but that's what we've had to live with that. I've had to live that with all my life, really. On a positive note, you know, for 30 years or so, people keep on saying to me, well, it's not really a proper job, is it? You know, and all that sort of thing. Whereas now we've proven particularly through lockdown, that performers are an essential worker.
Yes, it really is.
Yeah, people are turning to us to do something different. Actors are in films and TV and radio. That they're listening and watching, and so we become essential to the lockdown.
Yeah, and a lot of
will that change people's opinions? I think not, but
no, of course not.
But I can say with confidence and pride that when it comes down to the crunch, I'm part of an industry that's essential to the survival of the community. Mm-hmm. There you go. Discuss.
Well, I mean, honestly, it's an outlet. Entertainment is an outlet to go and at least either need to be in it to take yourself out of yourself and either be entertained, whether you want drama, you want to laugh, you want to cry, but to live vicariously in the visual, whether you're in a theater and seeing it live on the boards, or you're seeing it watching it on your phone here, or watching it in the theater. The bad thing is, I mean, with COVID, we've all been inside, but all fairness, we've been watching Netflix anyway, people. It's not like you just learned how to binge something.
Yeah, it's in our DNA now. I mean, we've all sat in small communities right the way back to when we were clubbing each other to death with, in sitting in a cave. But there was at some point some form of what we now call entertainment.
That happens up the street 10 miles away from me, so that's nothing.
But
that's Bithlow. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm kidding.
No, but it is interesting. It is very interesting, and I've learned a lot about myself as well in I'm very fortunate. I have a garden, so I can get out into the sunshine. I'm fortunate that I've got lots of writing projects, so that's keeping me busy.
Mm-hmm.
It allows me to put a structure to my day.
Right.
And that's what's helped me through. And then coming on doing podcasts like that with you and others has been fun.
Mm-hmm.
But I will go away from here thinking, oh, if only we could have done this sitting around a table.
Yeah.
You know, and having a snack.
Maybe one day. Maybe one day.
Yeah.
For the folks who are just joining us over here, we just finished our interview with Colin Spaull. In just a few moments, or we'll actually say about 11 minutes.
You need a new link.
The link's already up.
No, do you have another link for?
Yeah,
okay.
For
Nick, because once this ends broadcast, we have to go to a different link.
Right. I already had the link posted, so it's already up there. But Simon, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank
you very much for inviting me. I look forward to the next time. It's always such a hoot.
Oh God, I always have so much fun, especially when Christian's like, Simon's going to be on.
I apologize again if I misspeak.
I don't. I always misspeak. Guys, if you want to join us, the link is on the Traveling TARDIS Facebook page for Nick Briggs. I'll post the link. And Simon, I'm going to post it in the TLTT PM. So if you want, by some chance in the next 10 minutes, things change, just jump in the link. We'll bring you on board.
I'll do that indeed.
We can always bring you in a different segment, like at the end if you want.
I've got to make a phone call in about
you got it.
So,
all right, guys.
So bye for now.
Everybody, thank you for ending broadcast now.
Bye.